Hello dear students, in this topic I'm going to explain misleading graphs and statistics. Page 148, chapter 4, lesson 4. In this topic we're going to learn how to recognize misleading graph and statistics. As you know, the definition of misleading means a graph, okay, or a numbers make us believe something that's not really true. So, before trusting to any graph, always ask, does the y-axis started at 0? Okay. Are the intervals consistent? 3. Is the sample space is large enough to believe it? Okay. Now let's see. Here we have some notes about the graphs and statistics can be misleading when the first one, the scale is confusing or does not start at 0. Second one, picture are different size. 3, different times period are compared. Number 4, small sample are used. Number 5, important information is missing. Number 6, the number on the axis are not evenly spaced. Let's see the example. As you can see here, we have a graph. So, as I told you before, trust a graph, always ask, does the y-axis started at 0? Yes. Okay. It is unordered, evenly spaced? Yes. Now, the interval is consistent, as I told you. You have to check about another reason why it's misleading. The second one, if you remember here, picture are different size. Okay, that's why this graph is misleading. The basketball price are only about 2 and 1 out of 2 times greater than the baseball price, but they look like much more. That's why we will say the reason for this graph, why it's misleading, because picture are different size. Okay, this one. The second graph, again, you have to ask, does the y-axis start at 0? Directly no. So what's the reason of misleading? The horizontal scale does not start at 0. That's why this one is misleading. The other one, why this graph is misleading. Okay? Picture or icons are used in different size to represent data. Okay, that's so. For example, this one it's about 9 million cars. Even this one is about 9 million cars. This one it's heavy trucks. It's about 9 million cars. So we will say it's what the pictures are different size. Okay, that's why it's misleading. Now, a housing development. They have 5 models. The price start with 475,000 dinars, 500,000 dinars, 225,000 dinars, and 480,000 dinars. The last one is 510,000 dinars. And they wrote what on the top? New homes average price 438. Why it's misleading? It's misleading because there's only one of them. It's under this price. Okay, that's why it is misleading. Okay. When I say this movie, it's my favorite. It's enough to believe us, to believe me. It's the top one. No, because the sample space is too small. Now, the revenue of aviation company A for November and December was 6,600,000,000 dinars. The revenue for aviation company B for January and February, as you can see here, we have times, was what? 8,300,000,000 dinars. So why it's misleading? It's misleading because different times of the year. It's not fair to compare company. It's not fair to compare company A and company B because they are in different times of the year. So that's why it's misleading. Again, so here's the reason of some misleading. You have to know what's the reason. Okay, then write the reason. Ask 3 questions to yourself. Does the y-axis start at 0? As you can see, no. So what's the reason? The reason is the horizontal scale or the graph does not start at 0. This one, as you can see here, we have 150, then 157, then 170. Until here it's okay. It's in order. Then they wrote what? 156. So why it is misleading? We will say the number on the axis are not evenly spaced. That's why this graph is misleading. Then a stack of broccoli has 477 milligrams of potassium. A large carrot has 230. Then we have another vegetable which is equals to cauliflower. It's about 803 milligrams of potassium. So it's fair to compare between them? No. Why? Because we have different size of vegetables. It's not fair to compare carrot with broccoli with cauliflower, okay? And here we have, if you check, we have time. So directly, you know, what's the reason of misleading? The reason is different time periods are compared. What about here? Again, ask yourself, does the y-axis start at 0? Even we don't have any y-axis. So what's the reason? Important information is missing. That's why this graph is misleading. Even this one, as I told you, this is represent 100 cans. This one is represent 50 boxes. So why it's misleading? Because we have what picture are in different size. Now a survey, it's about 100 students. 110 of them, they prefer engineering. The other 112, they prefer social science. It's fair to say, okay, social science is over engineering. No. Why? Why it's misleading? Because it's only about 2 students. That's why we will say it's misleading. Okay. Now we have a reporter asked 90 students. Then he only care about some of them. So he ignores the other students. That's why in this case we will say it's misleading. Again, in this example, as you can see, it starts from 0 and important information is written. So what's the reason of misleading? You have to know what's the reason. It's misleading, but you have to know what's the reason of misleading. Again, we have pictures, so it is different. Pictures are in different sizes, okay? And this one, it's not real. It's in 3D shapes. That's why it is misleading. The last one, it's enough. When the 6 dentists, they prefer toothpaste for us. No. Why? What's the reason? The sample space was too small. That's why it's misleading. Have a nice time.